Hey guys, so today's video is going to be something that I've been planning for a while because a bunch of makeup that I own fits into this category. So it's just like trying to figure out what products to include, what not to include. It just took me a while to plan. I have too many products to show you guys because they all just really fit into this whole category, and I'm going to try some of them on my face, obviously do a full face, and then just give you alternatives in case you don't want to buy one of them. You can buy something else. So today's video is a no makeup look, or just very natural, comfortable wearing makeup for spring and summer, because that's the seasons that we're going into, and that is the best makeup for me, in my opinion. Best makeup. It looks incredible, it photographs well, it looks good on video, and it looks good in person, and that is the key, because I find full glam, like full glam that people do on Instagram or YouTube, looks really good on camera with ring lights, and then you step outside and it doesn't look great a lot of the time because it's just dry and crackly and there are many layers. I find I fell into that trap in like 2015, 2016 when I was doing my makeup. It looked great inside my room, and when I left outside into the natural light, it just looked really bad. It looked cakey, it looked, you know, crackly, and it just didn't look really nice, because there was a big difference between doing kind of like this kind of makeup, like for videos and photography, and then doing actual everyday makeup. This is also really quick makeup. A lot of time you can cut down your time of doing makeup in half. If you want more coverage, substitute some products into here. I'll give a few alternatives as well for more high coverage makeup, but I'm going for a low to medium coverage in this video. But if you want medium to high, you can also make that look natural just by adding different setting sprays, different primers, that kind of a thing. My social media will be in description along with my drama channel, and subscribe, hit that bell, like and comment for engagement, and let's get into it. Let's start with primer. It's really important. I find sometimes when you look for natural makeup videos or content, it's a lot of dewy makeup, very oily, very no powder, unset. That's how I used to do my natural makeup. Like if I was doing everyday makeup, I would use basically no powder. And then I realized it comes off, it looks really textured, because the more shine you put on your face, the more it emphasizes texture. Sometimes it's really good to put just a light layer of powder on even a natural no makeup look. I have powders, I have stuff, but primers are really important. So one of my favorites used to be the Glossier Future Dew. I haven't used this in a while because I've just been using other primers, but it's amazing. It's like a serum. It's basically part of their skincare line, but I used it under makeup because it's got a thick, shimmery consistency, and it's just really hydrating and just really nice. So I used that as primer or skin tint. You can use this, it just doubles as both. You can use the Hollywood Flawless filter from Charlotte Tilbury. I have it in the shade 1 Fair, and then I have one that's a little bit deeper as well, and that was sent to me in PR. But this one is one I bought just for now because it's just a lighter shade, but you can use this as a primer underneath foundation. So for example, if you like a more full coverage foundation but you still want it to look nice and dewy and natural, you can put something like this underneath as primer. It's very like shiny, dewy, and then put your regular medium to full coverage foundation on top, and it will look really nice actually. Then for primer, we also have one that's in my project pan right now. It's just the Kylie one. It's her Illuminating Primer from her Christmas collection. It's got like a bunch of shimmer in it, so this under foundation or skin tint, once again, it's just going to give you that look. But natural everyday makeup, like I said, it's a lot of no powder, no mattifying products, and I feel like some people, obviously with more oily skin types, you can't do a bunch of dewy products because it's one, not going to stay in your face, and two, you're just going to look like you dunked your face into oil, which is my problem every now and then. I have combination skin, so it's kind of more dry on the like outside, then it's really oily in the middle, and if I don't set the middle, then I look like I dunked myself into oil. So my option also is the Colourpop No Filter Primer, which is a more mattifying primer, but it's not super blurring or thick, pasty, none of that stuff. Super thin, slightly mattifies and blurs the whole face, and it looks really nice under natural makeup if you have more oily skin, which I think is really important. Right now I have this like open tester. It's the It Cosmetics Confidence in a Gel Lotion Hydra Plumping Weightless Moisturizer, which I just used as a primer, and I'm gonna finish it off. Well, I'm not gonna finish it because there's just a bunch of product in here. Sometimes I find that testers have too much product in them because you're never going to use this whole sachet in one go, but then I don't like having these just open laying around because I feel like they dry up. So I just apply this. You can also just use moisturizer as primer. You don't have to use a primer if you don't want to. You can just use your favorite moisturizer. Just make sure that it looks good under your makeup, but also if you're using moisturizer under your makeup, sometimes they just don't look good under makeup when you're putting them straight away. So if you are noticing that your foundation is breaking up on top of your moisturizer, then give your moisturizer about half an hour to soak in before applying your foundation. I just find that works a little bit better sometimes, but this one soaked in straight away because my skin was dry. For skin tints, I'll show you some of my favorites. So of course the Glossier skin tint. Then if you want something a little bit more full coverage, we have the Milk Makeup Skin Tint, which has SPF in it as well, which is really nice. It's more of like a medium-ish, like light, but more on the medium-ish side. And then obviously we have the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter, which is also just really nice on its own. And that is all I have. We also have the Colourpop Skin Tint if you want something a little bit, you know, a little bit more full coverage. The It Cosmetics CC Cream. Colourpop Pretty Fresh Foundation, looks really nice and skin-like. Pat McGrath Foundation. And then just any foundation you like. Just pick whatever makes you comfortable. But these are some of my favourite picks. I use skin tints and stuff with a sponge, like a beauty blender. I know some people say it soaks up coverage and there's already not a lot of coverage, so you kind of are shearing it down even more, but I find that gives me the more like natural applications. I just prefer it that way. See, this is the kind of coverage the Milk one gives you. It doesn't cover all the spots, but it covers just enough. So this is what the foundation looks like. Well, the skin tint. It's just enough coverage and it's not too dewy, but it's still very dewy. It's not like overwhelmingly dewy where you can't fix it later on. Then for concealer, my one pick is the Stretch Concealer from Glossier. I think it's got enough coverage to actually be a useful concealer, but it also just looks amazing literally all the time with any foundation, anything you use. This looks amazing with it. But the Pat McGrath concealer is really natural looking, but it's got kind of like a regular concealer coverage. Then we have obviously the Colourpop Pretty Fresh concealer. I also have this one that I tried recently, which is the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Away liquid concealer. It's got one of those like puffs on top. It's kind of similar to the Maybelline Erase something concealer. It's like, you know, the one that everyone uses. That one as well. I used to use it before I stopped using non-cruelty free makeup, but I find the Glossier one is just a perfect combination of all of them. It's super like just a super nice consistency that just looks beautiful. Look at that. And the coverage is just enough, but it doesn't look like you're wearing anything on your skin, which is amazing. Let me cover up some of these spots a little bit. See, it like helps to dull down some of the spots. I also recently tried the Milk concealer. I think it's like the Flex concealer. That one was quite nice as well. It wasn't too full coverage and it looked more skin-like, but the Glossier Stretch Concealer hands down wins every single time. So I've gone through a bunch of these and I just think it just looks best. We have powders. I think that's really important. I have a few picks. First of all, I tried the Milk makeup powder the other day and it reminds me of the Glossier Wowder, which is the best like natural powder. It just doesn't look like powder on your skin at all, and I'm getting the same vibes from this. It's just more of like a blurring, slightly setting powder, but it's not too heavy and you don't end up picking a lot on your powder because it's got one of those like nettings things, and the Wowder comes in the same packaging and you basically don't end up picking up a lot, so you don't end up overdoing it. I use that on just like the areas that I need to set, and then on my whole face I'll use the Hourglass finishing powder just in any shade that you pick. This one's been used up. But also if you want a dupe for that one, the Becca, obviously Becca's like going out of business now, so if you want to buy this before they go out of business, the Light Shifter Finishing Veil is a very similar thing to the Hourglass one, and it just looks like this. It doesn't have too much shimmer going through it, but it also doesn't mattify your skin too much. And Too Faced came out with these trios in different skin tones where you have like a powder in the middle and then a highlighter on the left and a blinding highlight on the right, and the powder in the middle works the same way as the Hourglass and this. It does like the setting but in a super dewy way. So some of those are a little, you know, just nice ways to set your face without looking matte and powdery. Then I use something, obviously I hate this powder, okay, I hate it, but something that has a little bit more coverage if you want just a tiny bit more coverage just in random places. I love the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish powder. That's my favorite pigmented powder, but I'm currently using this one and it does the job, but like I don't like it. I use this, for example, on any spots to just like add a little bit more coverage in that area without having to pile on foundation. That's one way to make your makeup look a little more natural. So I'm just gonna blend out the concealer a tiny bit just to set, and I'm gonna go into the powder, pick it up on the brush, so you can't pick up too much because of the net, and then I just go underneath my eyes. It just does the most subtle setting because like I said, you don't pick up a lot, so you don't end up setting too much. Setting a tiny bit, and I'm not setting my face right now, I'm just setting my under eyes just so they don't start creasing while I'm doing other things. So don't set everywhere because we're going to do a lot of cream products, and you don't want to apply cream on top of powder because not all of them work that way. Some of them do, but some of them don't. Most of them don't work that way. I have a few picks depending on kind of like what you're going with. So the Charlotte Tilbury Contour Wand. This is more of a contouring product because it says Contour Wand on it. So this is going to give you a more cool shade on your face. If you don't like that, then don't get this one. Super easy to blend, and it's not too like pigmented. You can apply quite a lot of it and still blend it out. Then we have the Fenty Beauty Cream Bronzer, which is an actual bronzer, not a contour. And this one's in the shade 02 Butter Biscuit. And it's still not a super warm toned bronzer, but it's a little warmer than this. So we're just gonna go in with this one. I've been using this one the other day and I really enjoyed it. I just put it on the bottom where I had the foundation, and I just kind of, like, I don't know how to explain it, but kind of like here is where I want the bronzer to go and up. Like, I don't want it to go below this line. So I kind of like put the bottom of the sponge right there, and this is where I keep the bronzer. Just so it doesn't go below the line, because you don't want super like low bronzer because it's going to drag your face down. So just watch your sponge placement, because bronzer, as much as it's used to bronze the face, you can also do a little bit of contouring with bronzer, which is what I do most of the time. Like, most of the time I don't do contour, so this is just how I bronze my face. Look at that. Sunlight has hit my face. It's really funny when you watch a movie and you can quite clearly tell that like the main character is waking up in the morning and she has a full face of makeup on. This is the kind of makeup they do for those kind of movies where they're like, we want to make it look like the character's not wearing makeup, but she has mascara on and she has contour and she has highlight. I'm just doing a tiny bit of like bronzing around the nose, under the lip, on this like jaw area here. You're basically just bringing some colour back into the face, which is nice. So this is one of my favourite products. It blends out super well and it just has the right undertone for me, just hoping you find the right shade. Another product for bronzing that I found recently is the Milk Makeup Bronzer. This is a matte bronzer. So if you have oily skin but you still want to use a cream product, this actually dries down matte. So you don't have to worry about it moving around too much or looking greasy on your face. So this one's really good. It blends out super well and it's also really emollient, so it doesn't like stick in one spot, even though it is a matte bronzer. You can tell I love blush because these are all my picks for you guys. Let's just go through them quickly. We have the Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm Beauty Light Wand. It's got a bunch of shimmer in it. It can double as a highlight as well. So if you apply it and you don't want to put on highlight, this doubles as a blush and a highlight. This is the shade Pink Gasm, but they also have the other one, like a more corally shade. Then we have the Fenty cream product. This one is Petal Popping 02 and it's just a pinky coral looking shade. Very nice. Has the same formula as the bronzer, if you like the bronzer. Then we have Morphe 2. One of the only Morphe 2 products I have. I have this and the skin tint, and that's it. This is in the shade Wish, and it's a Wonder Tint Cheek and Lip Mousse, and it is a moussey texture. It's got a very similar shade to the Fenty Cream Blush. So if you were looking for, see, they're very similar. Formula's a little bit different. This is more of a mousse, and it kind of looks a little bit more matte on the skin, and this one is kind of like the bronzer. The most recent Colourpop blush thing, it's their Cheek Dew Serum blush in the shade Hotline. Amazing. It's super not pigmented, like if you don't want a full-on blush, because these are quite pigmented for cream products. This one's super easy to sheer out and it looks like a serum on the face. Then we have the Colourpop blush stick. This one is from the Limoncello collection that they just came out with, but they have them just in random collections. This is in the shade Picnic Time, and it's a very similar shade to the cream blush from Fenty and the Morphe one. As you can see, I have a bit of a preference when it comes to blushes. Very easy formula to use. Don't apply it straight to the cheeks. Apply it to your hand or straight to the sponge and then go in with a sponge like that. Then we have Glossier Cloud Paint, the amazing, this is what got me into natural makeup. I love it. I love the shade Beam the most, but they have a few. They have some really good ones for deep skin tones, really original shades. Like they have like a more purpley shade, like a raspberry, a burgundy, a really hot orange. So if you have deeper skin tones, these might be really good for you, because I find sometimes liquid products from brands are lacking in shade ranges. So these are actually really nice and super pigmented. You do not need a lot of this. It goes a long way. Then we have this mini Milk blush. It's also a very similar formula to their bronzer, and this is in the shade Work, and it's a lip and cheek tint, and you can see very similar shade to the Fenty and the Morphe and the Colourpop. So we're gonna go in with, I'll just do the Colourpop Cheek Dew. It's the more natural one out of all of them. I apply quite a lot of it to the back of my hand. This is just how I apply it, and then I smother it around with my hands. This is how I do all cream products. I smother it around to create a more even base. I apply the rest to the sponge, and then I just start dotting it on my face. It's super highlighty, super natural looking, as you can see. I pick up some more, going with the other side. But it's not oily looking, it's just really natural looking. It gives you that skin-like look. I mean, it looks pigmented now because I piled on a bunch. If you want a more natural look, you can just apply a tiny bit and it will look super natural, but with the way I pile on blush, none of them look unpigmented. It's just the perfect, like, oh, I just went out into the sun for a little bit and I just, you know, got a little bit sunburnt. Don't get sunburnt though, make sure you apply SPF in this spring and summertime. There we go. I then take a tiny bit and apply it to my forehead as well. I find this is the key to a natural looking bronze and skin, just in general. Apply the blush wherever you apply the bronzer, and I feel that looks like a sun-kissed look. Chin, obviously the nose. Then I go over kind of like the lines here with just the concealer side, just to tone this down a little bit. So always drag it down too low and then it drags down your face. You don't want that. I forgot, for blush, if you want a little bit more of a powdery texture, but still kind of cream, the Super Shock Cheeks from Colourpop, which are kind of like a mixture between obviously a powder and a cream. Formulas like this look super natural, but they tone down the shininess of your cheek a little bit because they do have a little bit of powderiness to them. More than obviously a cream product. So I find that these can mattify your skin a tiny bit if you're wearing a lot of cream products. So for highlights, we have things like the Hollywood Beauty Light Wand, which is amazing. We have something like the Halo Scope from Glossier, which is like super natural. You're not getting much of a sheen, you're just getting like sweat on your face. So if you want to do the most natural makeup, this is it for you. This is more of a blinding highlight, so just be careful with this. It's not like a supernatural look. But then for powder products, the most recent Pat McGrath Labs highlighter looks super natural on the skin. The color's not natural, at least for me, because it's like a pinky gold. But the formula on this is kind of reminiscent of like a Super Shock shadow without the bounciness. It just melts into the skin and it just looks so beautiful. Also things like obviously the Colourpop Super Shock highlighters, they look super natural, but they're really blinding. So they melt into the skin, but you can quite clearly tell you're wearing a blinding highlight. So it just depends kind of what highlight you're going for, really. I'm going to set the rest of my face and show you guys that process. This is pretty much finished. We're not getting anything out of this. I'm just going to go in with the Becca one on just a big brush. And I just set the rest of my face. It's a finishing powder, but I use finishing powders as setting powders on those natural days. I just go over the blush, the bronzer, and, you know, highlight if I put some on, and it just slightly dials down the dewiness while still looking natural and not like I'm wearing a powder. And you can really pile these on without it looking powdery. I don't know what's in these things, but they're just a really natural way to set your face. And I don't use any filters during my filming process, so this is just what my skin looks like. So you don't get that much texture because you are slightly setting the face without oversetting it. Then we're going to do highlights. So I'm going to go in with the Pat McGrath one just to be exciting. I'll just apply it with my finger because I forgot my brush. It just melts into the skin so beautifully. And because I set my skin a tiny bit, it's not dragging or anything. It just blends super nicely into the skin. It just literally melts into the skin. Look at that. So nice. Setting spray, super important. I find with these kind of makeup looks, everyone goes into like the dewy setting sprays, and I feel like that's sometimes a little bit of a mistake because if you're adding like dew on top of dew, it's all just going to slide off your face. I think a long wearing setting spray in this case is a must. I feel like, you know, the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray, I've stopped using that one because the sprayer kind of annoys me. They're very inconsistent, but I've been loving the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. This actually elongates the wear of my makeup without looking dry or crackly. This just looks really good. And once you apply one like this, you can go over top with a dewy setting spray once you've already like locked in your makeup. So I think this is a key to wearing dewy natural makeup all day. If you want to do hydrating and setting all in one go, the Milk Hydra Grip setting spray is a grip set plus refresh spray. So you can like use that to refresh your makeup during the day or to set it into place and make it last longer while also hydrating your skin. This one's really good. I tried it during the full face and I really enjoyed it, so I can't wait to start using it in my project pan. I'm waiting for the setting spray to completely set before I do anything else. Like I'm not touching it with a sponge or anything. I'm literally just waiting for it to do its magic on its own. So when I'm fanning my face, I'm waiting to stop feeling the cool of the air on the wet skin. Like that's when I know it's completely set. And then I go in with a dewy setting spray. I'm using the Fasali one, but you can use literally any setting spray that says dewy on it. Colourpop has some. drugstore brands have some, just pick whatever says Dewy on it. This is the Rose Gold Skin Mist, and I don't apply too much of it. Like, I applied quite a lot of the Charlotte Tilbury one. This one I just kind of use as a topper up, like that. That's it. And this is where I go in with the sponge, and just press in. What I find is really important is still using an eyeshadow primer if you're going to do eyeshadow, because you want your eyeshadow to not crease. So whatever you're doing, I would still recommend using an eyeshadow primer, whatever one you use. It doesn't really matter for this tutorial, it really doesn't matter. I'm using the MAC Paint Pot in Soft Ochre, but just use whichever one you have. It does not change the look. I just think an eyeshadow primer is a must no matter what makeup you're doing, whether super natural or super full glam. An eyeshadow primer is a must. There we go. And this one just hides the veins as well. I have quite a lot of redness on my eyelids, so it just helps with that. I don't use a lot of clear primers because I find that I don't like when my veins peek through the eyeshadow. Yeah, one thing I'd say is don't use, well, if you like using concealer under your eyeshadow, do that, but with the kind of concealer I use for this kind of a look, it would just be a creasy mess, so I prefer to go in with an eyeshadow primer rather than something like the stretch concealer. It's just too dewy. Eyeshadow is a very broad topic for this. The Colourpop nude eyeshadow palettes, any nude eyeshadow palettes, anything that you want, even if you use green eyeshadow with this, like, it doesn't really matter. Lately I've been really enjoying this Too Faced palette that I got. It's like this, all the beauty gurus were talking about it, and I was like, fine, I'll just buy it, fine. And it's really nice, actually. It goes from like the light shades to the deeper shades, and it's got the shimmer shades for each matte shade, which I think makes it super easy to make a natural look with. I also like the Charlotte Tilbury quads for this kind of a thing. This is the Exaggerize Bigger Brighter Eyes filter. I literally just got this, and it's like a cool toned quad. We also have just the classic, the Pillow Talk quad. It's just a stunning quad, look at that. Just like a cool toned pinkiness. Any of these Charlotte Tilbury quads, the filter ones, like the baked ones I told you guys about, any eyeshadow you like, use it. Okay, I'm gonna go in with the Pillow Talk one from Charlotte Tilbury. I'm gonna go into the lighter matte up here and just pile it onto my brush and go in on the outer edge, basically cover the whole outer half, and then blend it into the crease. For these kinds of looks, I tend to use literally one eyeshadow brush because it's not an intricate look where you need to, you know, use different brushes for different colors or anything like that. You're literally just creating a soft glam look. Do whatever shades you like. Some people like cool tones, some people like pinks, some people like browns, anything you want for this kind of a natural look. I like pinks. They are what make me feel pretty, so I tend to do pink looks for my natural days, like very soft blushy tones, like the Colourpop blush palette, or the Valentine's Day collection is also something I'd go in with. The Wild Nothing palette, any of their like springtime palettes. But if you like warm toned palettes, then the Nude Mood, the Wild Child, if you like cool tones, going coconuts, or that's taupe. And then just any other brands that you like. You know, I can't possibly name all the eyeshadow palettes that you guys could use for this, but just, you know, these kinds of tones are just really nice, very soft makeup, super blended out and blurred out. Then I'm gonna go in with the deeper one and just apply that right on the outer edge. These blend out really nicely because they're just super like natural looking eyeshadows. And also natural makeup doesn't mean like no eyeshadow, no, you know, anything. It's just makeup that looks really fresh and nice on the skin. And that's why I'm saying just use whatever eyeshadow makes you happy, because that doesn't really matter. I'm gonna go into this shimmer shade down here in the corner on my finger, and just apply that to the inside half, like inner half of my eye. And the thing is with this look, you can take away or add, so that if you want more on the face, you can add more on the face. If you want to take away the eyeshadow and just do the skin, you take away the eyeshadow and you just do the skin. I feel like one of these makeup looks is super easy to build on or take away from to suit everyday needs. Like for example, sometimes when I just need to leave the house to go to like grocery shopping or something, I will do the Glossier Skin Tint, Glossier Stretch Concealer. I'll put on like one of these cream blushes, a super natural brow gel, mascara, and I'll leave the house like that. Nothing else, no powder, nothing. But then if I'm doing a filming day but I want very natural makeup, I'll do something like this. So it just depends on the situation that you're going into. This shade here is so stunning. It's a mixture of gold and pink and it just looks really nice. I wanted to do it on my finger, but my nails are starting to grow out again. So I'll just use the same brush that I used for the mattes and dip it into this shade here and put it on my inner corner. And it just looks stunning. It's a more finely milled, whereas this one on the lid is more glittery. And then just blend all of that together again, just for a seamless look. Then I take a tiny bit of the matte, just mixed together, and I put it under my eyes, just very softly, nothing too out of the ordinary, and just apply that. See how I'm using the same brush for everything? That's how quick it is. I always opt for a brown pencil rather than black. I feel like it just looks much softer. This is a shimmery one as well, so it's going to add a little bit of life to your eyes if you need that. I definitely need that today because I look tired. Then mascara. I find, just depending on what you like, sometimes I like a really natural looking lash. So for that, we have the Glossier Lash Stick or the Milk Kush mascara. I'm just going to use the Glossier Lash Stick for today. Always curl my lashes. That's just a must. I think it just makes them look much prettier. And this is a plastic wand. I hate plastic wands, but this mascara is just really nice. It's super natural, so don't expect too much. I feel like people get really confused with natural makeup because they buy something from a website like Glossier where it literally says like natural, no pigment, low pigment, and they're like, why is it not pigmented? It's like, well, because it said it on the website. It's not supposed to be pigmented. See, this is just what it does. It really separates, slightly lengthens, and just adds a tint to the lashes. It does not look like I'm wearing mascara. If you do one layer of this, it will not look like you're wearing mascara. It will look like your lashes are just pigmented and long and nice and separated without the mascara look. I apply it to the lower lashes just for a little bit of a tint, nothing too much, and this is what it looks like. You can obviously do a second layer if you want to, and then it will start to look more mascara-y. It will get like clumps and stuff, but I like to keep it that way. I think it looks so stunning and just so mysterious. People are gonna be like, oh my god, is she wearing mascara or her lashes just that long? They will never know. And there you go, this is what they look like. For eyeshadow, before we move on to the next thing, cream pot stuff as well is also really nice. Recently, Colourpop came out with these eyeshadow sticks. Eyeshadow sticks are good in general for a one stick look. Then we have these Charlotte Tilbury pot shadows. This is in the shade Pillow Talk to go with your Pillow Talk stuff if you have a bunch of those things. It's just a shimmery pot if you just want to do a one eyeshadow look. I think those are really cute. We also have the Colourpop Super Shock shadows that you can just tap onto the lid and move on with your life. This is from the Animal Crossing collection in the shade Balloon Pop. A beautiful rose gold shade, just really stunning. For a cool toned look, Ritz, really nice as well, just really good. A really nice cool toned look. Those are really stunning if you don't want to do a full matte and shimmer. Then for brows, you can do an eyebrow pencil if you want to. This is from the Charlotte Tilbury line. They just came out with these. This is the Brow Cheat, but the NYX brow pencil, the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz, the Colourpop Brow Boss, I think it's called, Brow something. It's all these like micro pencils. This is just the most recent one that Charlotte Tilbury came out with and they sent it to me, so I'm just using it and it's really good. I haven't used a brow pencil in so long, and then in my last video I used one and someone in the comments said your brows look really nice and I was very happy about it. Anyway, so this is just a super skinny pencil. They came out with a bunch of brow gels and brow products. I just brush my eyebrows up, apply a little bit down here just to extend the brow, kind of drag some down here. I basically just draw the bottom of my brow and then blend it up, and then I don't do anything else. This is it. I find that's the most natural looking brow, is just do the bottom but don't do the top. If you have more full brows, and if you don't, then just fill in wherever you feel like you want to fill in. I'm not here to tell you what to do. Then a brow gel. So Glossier Boy Brow Colourpop brow gel is really good, and then Charlotte Tilbury Legendary Brows has a super teeny tiny end. Look at that. So tiny. I love these brow gels. They're so good. I tried these in my full face of Charlotte Tilbury and I just fell in love because of how teeny tiny the brush is. If you have less brows or you just like a more precise brow, then this is super good. Because you're not going to get the brow gel on the skin, which is nice. I'm like ready for the day, but you know, still natural. If I'm going for an even more natural day, I just do brow gel. I don't do brow pencil, but just wanted to show you guys the full look. Then lips, which are another true love for me, just like blush. I have a lot to show you guys. These Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks, this is in the shade Pillow Talk. They just look like this and they hydrate your lips a lot and they just give a slight tint to the lips and it looks like gloss and lipstick in one. A lip liner. Just the easiest way to go. You apply lip balm, lip liner on top, blend it a little bit and you're good to go. This is Colourpop Minuteman. I use this all the time and you guys are like, what is it? And I think it's discontinued. So just find whatever works for your skin tone and stick with that. Then we have the Glossier Just a Tint Crayon. This is in the shade Give Me S'more. I've used a bunch of this and it once again just looks like a lipstick and lip gloss in one. Amazing formula and you can just reapply this throughout the day even without a mirror. Really good. Glossier Generation G lipsticks. This is in the shade Leo. If you want a blotted lip look where it gives your lips a slight tint but it doesn't look like you're wearing lipstick, one of these, super good. Then my favorite lipstick of the last month, Charlotte Tilbury. These are the matte lipsticks. I think it's called Matte Revolution and it's in the shade Very Victoria. This is a mini, but it gives your lips a blotted, beautiful look. If you find a shade that works for you, it's going to look amazing. Lip glosses, my favorite lip glosses of all time, the So Juicy lip glosses. This is a more opaque version, which is in the shade Candy Coated, and it has no shimmer going through it. It's just an opaque pink. And then if you want a translucent version, they recently came out with ones for the Lizzie McGuire collection, and it's translucent. As you can see, it's like a jelly consistency, and it has glitter going through it. Just whatever works for you. I'm going to apply my favorite lipstick, the Very Victoria. It's just the perfect shade for me. I just feel so pretty in it and I keep on reapplying it during the day because it just makes me feel that pretty. See, it's not super pigmented. It's just like a blotted look and it's a super comfortable matte. It's more of a satin really. So this is what that one looks like. I just think it looks so stunning. Oh my God. And then we're going to go in with Gordo over top. That's the name of the lip gloss. If I'm wearing lipstick already, I just apply the lip gloss to my finger. So I don't get the applicator dirty, and I do this with all of my lip glosses just so that, you know, the shade stays whatever it is. And I apply it on top. And this is what it looks like. It's just a My Lips But Better shade. Find your lips for better shade and apply. No lip liner or anything, just looks super blotted and nice. Then if you want to amp up your look without still going full glam, I find these kind of lashes really good. They're accent lashes where they basically are lashes that go from the middle of your eye out, so you don't have any lashes on the inside of your eye, and I find those are super natural. I've recently found out that because I'm allergic to, you know, lash glue, or just really sensitive to it, I thought I couldn't wear lashes, and I found magnetic ones. So these are the ones that you're supposed to apply on the bottom of your lashes and on top. Apparently these don't really work well, but they recently came out with a magnetic eyeliner. So technically these are two pairs of lashes for me, and I can just apply them to the eyeliner. So you can just apply a tiny bit of the eyeliner just on the outer edge and stick one on, and it would just look like you've got lash extensions really. So just things like this can really amp up your look. This is quite a, it's natural, but it's got the, you know, eyeshadow, it's got the brows, it's got the lips, but it still looks really natural. My skin looks like I'm not wearing any makeup. It's just a really good look. I love wearing these kinds of looks for springtime. Like, look at this. Like, look at this. It's just so fresh and so nice, and I just love these kinds of looks. And just because you have oily skin does not mean you can't do this. Just wear mattifying primers, do the dewy makeup, apply a little bit of powder and a long wearing setting spray, and you'll be good to go. And if it starts wearing off during the day, don't panic. It's supposed to wear off because it's makeup. And actually, these kinds of makeup looks where they're super low coverage, they actually wear off better than full coverage matte foundation, because full coverage matte foundation, when it starts wearing off, my skin starts peeking through, the redness starts peeking through, and it just looks like a whole mess. With these, it slowly starts to disintegrate and it just starts to look more and more natural throughout the day, but it never looks weird or funky. It just looks nice. This is my favorite look. I love this. I'm in love with this. It's just my favorite. So anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below anything you want to comment down below, and subscribe to upload videos every time I think of something to do. So hit that bell to be notified when that's happening. Social media links, any other links in description. I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.